Hi, welcome to Flipping Out in the Classroom. It's a good thing. I'm Marge Rempel. I'm the director of the Teaching and Learning Center here at the university, and your co-host for this session is Jamie Korolak, our Faculty Development Officer. So we're happy to have this opportunity to talk to you about the flipped classroom. It's a good thing. It is a good thing. And it helps enrich the learning of your students. So we felt it was important to model this type of a classroom as well, which is why you're doing this work ahead of time. So as a result, we're splitting this session up into ahead of class time work, which is what you're doing right now, and then we're going to have in-class time activities to get the class going. And you'll see how the flipped classroom actually works, whereby students are taking information in ahead of time and then bringing it to the classroom and working as a team, as in groups, to further cement that learning and to enrich the learning experience. So let's listen to what a math teacher has to say about the flipped classroom, one teacher's perspective.
I've been teaching math for the last 5 years, and this is why I flipped my classroom. This is what my classroom used to look like. I was teaching to the middle group of the class, the students that could follow along with what we were doing, and we were going through the content, while I had a group of higher level students not challenged, bored with the information, ready to move forward. And I had a struggling group of students that were not receiving enough effective remediation. They didn't have the basic content they needed to be working on the content we were currently covering, or they needed more help in order to be successful. This led to a 90% use of class time being spent on delivery and review of content. 90% of the time I was at the front of the classroom lecturing to a group of students, and I wasn't meeting all of their needs. 10% of class time was actually spent on application, which led to, depending on students, to do the application needed to be successful. They had to go home or outside of class and work on applying the concepts that I was giving out in class. This constant battle of not reaching the needs of all students and feeling the need to differentiate for all of my learners allows teachers to feel overwhelmed and ineffective, because we see the need for differentiation, but there's just not enough time for effective differentiation. This called for a drastic change in how we teach. This is where flipping the classroom comes in. Now the students outside of class preload the content. They get the information they're going to need for class. They can pause, rewind, and rewatch the videos as many times as they need to. They can post questions online to their classmates or to the teacher. And it's a self-paced program where they can be remediated by going back and reviewing former topics, or they can work ahead when they've already mastered a concept and are ready to look forward. They get the content here before class, so that when they come into class, my whole classroom has now shifted, where I'm at the center of the class, working between these differentiated groups, focused on different pieces of application. I can now work between each of these groups that are moving at their own pace. This has created a 90% use of class time spent on application of the content, and 10% of class time is spent on delivery of content, when I can answer questions that have been posted or take any other questions that have come up from applying the content. Now in my classroom, all students are engaged and challenged. I have time to work with each group, give them individualized time and instruction as they need, and I can actually work between each of the groups to provide effective differentiation for all my varied groups of learners. My struggling students, my middle group of learners, and I can now extend and expand on my higher level students' prior knowledge and challenge them in the classroom.
So there's one perspective. And what does it actually mean then? And as you can see from her demonstration, it means that we are taking the lecture part of the classroom and flipping it and making it part of the ahead of class time. Now, there may be all kinds of questions that you have about that in regards to how do you keep students' attention, how do you keep the students doing the work ahead of time. Well, there are all kinds of tricks. And that particular video by that math teacher, she has a series of videos that tell you what to do about disruptive students, what to do about students who don't do the work ahead of time. And you might want to review some of those or come and see us in the Teaching and Learning Center and we can talk to you about how to do it. But essentially what it does is the flipped classroom, by flipping it, it provides an opportunity for creating in-class learning activities, which means you are reaching deeper levels of understanding because you are not just simply telling the student what you know, but you are having the students apply what they've learned. And you have the ability to walk around the classroom and work with everybody and talk to them as they're doing their activities so that you get that one-on-one or group-on-one kind of rapport going. And of course, that influences the learning environment. What do we use? Well, we use technology. And we're a technology-enriched university, so it's perfect. We use the technology that comes with our laptops. We used additional technology. I've used Camtasia Studio to create this video. And all the resources that are at your fingertips, including the Teaching and Learning Center. Plug, plug. And anyway, again, it influences the learning environment. And what has been proven in research is that the flipped classroom actually does create a deeper level of understanding in students. So test scores are better. When a student moves from one level of class to the next level up, the retention of knowledge is better. So all of these things make the flipped classroom a desirable way of doing things. I have another perspective for you, a gentleman in a science class. It's fun to watch, so enjoy.
I'm Aaron Sams, and I teach science here at Woodland Park High School. My ultimate goal, I guess, as a teacher is to help students become learners who can learn for themselves and by themselves. One of the problems that I was guilty of even prior to flipping my classroom around was the classroom was centered around me. I told them exactly what to learn, how to learn it, what assignments to do to learn it, and when to learn it, and how to prove to me that they learned it. I don't do that anymore. We changed the plates in which content is delivered. Instead of standing in front of a class and delivering, here's how you do this type of problem, here's how this works, I deliver that direct instruction now asynchronously at home through these videos that we make with Camtasia Studio.
Times till whole.
Oh, we didn't do that last time.
The last step, they were already whole numbers. We had 1, 1, and 4. Here we don't have a whole number. So here's a few little tricks when you need to multiply by whole numbers. If one of your numbers ends in 0.5, you're going to multiply by 2.
Or something 0.5 times it by 2.
Right.
Okay, write this down, guys.
Yes. If something ends in 0.3 or 0.33 or 0.66, you multiply by 3.
And when the kids come to class, they don't show up to learn new stuff. They show up to apply the things that they learned at home and to ask me questions about the things they learned at home. So now they could have my lesson, if you will, what I would normally have stood up and lectured to them in class with some added features. They get that at home, and then what they were expected to do for homework is now what they do in my class. Life is different for me because I no longer am the guy who stands up in the front of the classroom and just yaks at a student for an hour or however long the class is. Now I walk around the class and I help kids. I'm a tutor, I'm a guide, I'm the putter-outer of fires, whatever it happens to be in my crazy chemistry class. I walk around and do that. I don't stand up front and teach under the kind of the traditional model. I'm Aaron Sams. I'm a teacher, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and I love Camtasia Studio.
Okay, so let's flip out. If you move to the next module in Blackboard, under the Getting Started for the class instructions, it'll tell you some of the things that you need to do to prepare for our class, which will be us in the half an hour segment that we have after that segment. So, see you on the other side. Thanks for watching.